I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm on top and I'm rising higher. How are you?
Oh, amen. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there. I
That's good.
forgive me in advance if I sound a little slurred. I got my wisdom teeth pulled out a couple days ago, so still
Mhm.
healing on this side. I have stitches on this side, so
I understand.
yeah.
I've
So
been there. Trust me.
yeah, yeah. It wasn't what I expected, but I'm glad I get it over and done with. Don't
Mhm.
have to do it
All,
again.
all four?
All four, all
Good.
at once. They numb me. I didn't go to sleep or anything.
Oh,
So,
I had to put me to sleep. I'd
oh
have
yeah.
been fighting.
Oh no.
I'd have been fighting. Had to put me to sleep. Mm-mm.
Oh, so it is definitely an honor and a pleasure to speak with you today. I told my mom, she told me to let you know that she said, hey, and
Hey.
from North Carolina. We love you. But it's definitely a huge honor and pleasure to speak to you today. And you have a new album out,
Yes, I
Chosen
do.
Vessel. How does it feel to release an album during the middle of the pandemic? How does it feel?
Well, I mean, it feels great because it really gives me the opportunity to minister to people in this particular season. I mean, it's been rough for everybody.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
now more
yeah.
than ever before, I believe that we need messaging that is going to encourage, uplift, and edify. So, this, since everybody's still more or less sort of kind of on a lockdown, this is a great time and a great moment, a great season to hear songs of adoration and praise that will empower and uplift.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, a lot of music is actually shifting towards the message of being uplifting. I mean, they have a lot of religious aspects, even R&B and hip hop. They're
Hmm.
including religion, a lot of political messages within their music. Do you feel like this is going to be the new normal, having that uplifting message within music, not just gospel but all music types?
Well, I would hope so. I would hope that this would be a moment in time for us to reflect and think about, the type of messages that we want to deliver. Um, I think that it's powerful that people, are, shifting their focus and trying to create content that will, edify and build rather than tear down and destroy.
Yeah.
So, it's I think it's a good season to be a part of this particular space, be it virtual or social media.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would say it's definitely a movement going on. Don't
Hmm.
know quite the name of the movement yet, but it's definitely a movement. And, honestly, I'm proud to watch how everything is unfolding. I mean, both the good and the bad of what's happening in
Hmm.
today's society. Because, I don't have children right now, but one day I could turn around and tell my kids, yeah, I was a part of this. And here's what happened. But I
Hmm.
want to get more so into your album, Chosen Vessel, because I will say I felt very nostalgic. Your second song, your intro,
Right, right.
I was like, oh, how did you do that? I was like, okay, and like I wanted to cry because those were the songs that I grew up listening to.
Hmm.
My mom, she kept me and my brothers in church, and Sunday morning we would get in my grandfather's Cadillac, and she would play some of your albums, and those were the songs that I would hear. But those were part of good memories that I
Right.
had. So what made you want to combine all those? I mean, I know they were singing the title and everything, but what made you
Right.
do that?
You are the only person and the first person to ask me that question as pertains to this record. You know what? Aaron Lindsay is a musical genius. And Aaron started reflecting on all of the songs that he played a part on.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, man, let's see if we can take them down a road just to reflect and remember,
Mm,
songs that really encouraged and uplifted them. And I was like, hey, man, that's a great idea. Let's do it.
yeah.
So he put it together. And when I heard it, I was like, wow, because that wasn't something that happened during the actual live recording. That was
Oh.
something he decided to do as an ad. So it's
Oh,
like when he did it, I was like, this is sick. I can't believe this is hot. So of course, I can't take credit for that. But I just think that he did something that was really amazing. And the fact that you actually thought about it means more people are thinking about it as well.
yeah. I mean, it definitely hit. I mean, I was what you guys, the goal that y'all had in mind when y'all were
Mhm.
doing that, it definitely worked. Because I mean, I was remembering, my me and my mom, we were talking about, oh, you remember, how we used to ride around in
Mhm.
Granddad's Cadillac, and we would listen to your songs and everything. And I'm like, this is really making me making me show my age.
Yeah, you start
Hold up
listening
now.
your age. What are you saying? You started listening to that stuff when you were 7.
Yeah. Well, I was a little bit older than that, but
Okay, very little.
yeah. Now, your album Chosen Vessel also
Mhm.
has the same name as the
The
church
church.
that you minister at,
Mhm.
Chosen Vessel Cathedral.
Right.
Was that coincidental, or was there a purpose behind that?
Well, it wasn't coincidental. People ask this question all the time. They assume that I did it because that was the name of the church, and
Oh,
honestly, that's good marketing, but that's not why I did it. I
oh.
started thinking about the whole fact that I'm flawed and that
Mm,
I've missed it, that I've made mistakes, that I've fallen short, and that I will make other mistakes.
right.
But even though I am flawed and I made mistakes, that God still chose me.
Mm,
And
mm,
and I and I just wanted to remind people that just because you haven't crossed every T and just because you haven't dotted every I, it doesn't mean that you are discarded
right.
because you make mistakes. But God chose you in spite of the mistakes that He knew that you were going to make.
Mm.
So it's really just a reminder for each and every individual to understand, yeah, you're a mess, but you're still chosen.
Yeah. Oh, amen. I love that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
love that. That honestly reminded me of what my mom used to tell us growing up. You can't have a testimony
Without a
without having
test.
a test. Yep, there you go.
That's
You know
absolutely right.
exactly. Yeah, and I like that. I tell everyone I'm not perfect. I make mistakes, but God still, at the end of the day, He still loves us, each and every
Right.
one of us. And that's what I took away, listening to your album.
Hmm.
What do you want others, what is the main focal point that you want others to take away listening, and how should they approach, going into, maybe first listen or so, listening to Chosen Vessel?
I think that, when people just listen to my music, I just want to remain open. I mean,
Yeah,
because I just think that it's a wonderful, it takes you on a journey.
yeah.
I mean, I'm a preacher of the gospel of Jesus Christ. So whenever I construct a message, I
Mm,
always construct a message with opening statements. And then after you do your opening statements, you have your transitional thought. And then after you have your transitional thought, you jump to your 3 points. And then after you finish your 3 points, you get to your close. I approach my albums the same way. And
mm,
whenever I put together a record, I want to make sure that people don't have to skip through the music, that once they put it on, they just got to let it play.
yeah, yeah.
And so that's, if they can do that, we good, because that means we accomplished the goal of
Right.
what we've been trying to do, and that is just let it play. Because if you let it play, it's going to take you through a myriad of emotions, but you're
Yeah.
going to end up getting to that designed, destined end, and that is hopefully, a joyful spirit and an encouraged mind, because that's the goal of the gospel. It's good news.
Yes. Oh.
Hmm.
And when you're behind the scenes and you're writing each song, what inspires you? Like, what gets you in that zone of inspiration? Or is it something that just comes to you?
Well, I understand, after 31 years of doing this, I
Mm,
get my assignment in the kingdom. I tell people, music, it's vertical and it's horizontal. Uh, Vertical music speaks to us as individuals, singing to God.
Hmm.
Horizontal music speaks to us singing to others about God, uh,
Oh,
and what God can do. I'm not a praise and worship leader, so my music is never vertical. I ain't gonna say never, I take that back. But for the most part, it's not a vertical type of relationship song. It is horizontal. My responsibility in the kingdom is to give messaging that other believers can take and use and live off of as testimonial tools. That's why whenever I sing songs specifically, I make sure I sing songs about, you know, how to make it through, how to come out, you know,
okay.
understanding who you are in God. Um, that's my assignment. And I think when you really understand what you are called to do, that's what makes you so effective. And that's why that's always been my goal. Once I figured it out, from thirsty to now, that's what I've been doing.
Okay. And I know I'm friends with, a couple of people who are developing artists, and they,
Hmm.
we talk about one thing we talk about, and you mentioned it, trying to find our calling.
Right.
Do you have any like tips on, those who are trying to get into the music industry, or, trying to produce gospel music, on how to find their calling musically?
Well, I think for me, this is my 13th record. So I mean, like I've been around a long time. So, for me, um, I thankfully I had the grace with my record companies to experiment
Hmm.
and find my space. Um, Now, more than ever before, what I see is that, people lock into a specific mindset musically,
Mm.
and they don't experiment or step outside of those bounds, um, but still remain true to themselves. Um, Again, I understand my music is horizontal. So the
Right.
majority of my records are always going to be speaking to people about how to deal with issues,
Right.
even though there'll still be songs on my record that deals with worship, adoration, and praise. So, I think what the industry is so different now. When I first started, when I first started, CDs
Yeah.
was was
Yeah.
new, to be honest with you. When I
Oh,
first started, they had something called cassettes,
oh yeah.
so I'm like, now we've gone from buying records and
Right.
CDs and cassettes to buying subscriptions.
Oh
We've
yeah.
gone from, people purchasing entire projects to people purchasing singles.
Yeah.
So because the industry has changed, so I always challenge people to make sure they do their due diligence,
Mm,
understand the industry that they're getting into, to
mhm.
study, because it's only gospel music on stage. When you off stage, it's music business. So, do your due diligence, work hard to understand what you're getting into, and be true to who you are. Um, Everybody's not called to be an international artist. Some
Right.
people are called to be a national artist.
Right.
Some people are called to be a regional artist. Some people are called to be state artists. Some
Right.
people are called to be local artists. Whatever state you in, be content until God elevates you, if he should elevate you to another level.
Amen. Oh,
Mhm.
I like that. And I'll share that with some of my friends. A message that I just received. Be like, Bishop told me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And actually, speaking of that, um, so you moved from Michigan to
Mhm.
Texas. That's on two
Yeah.
different sides. Man. But I mean, you had to resign from your other church, and
Yeah.
now you're at Chosen Vessel.
Hmm.
How's that going during, the pandemic? Are you guys doing, are you guys virtually, doing your worship service? Or are you guys back on location? How's that going?
Well, we didn't go completely back. My
Hmm.
church seats about 1,500.
Oh,
So
that's a,
I allow 125 people to come a Sunday.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh,
and that's only been for a month. We just started doing that because I did Survey Monkey to
mhm.
see with my church members to see who wanted to come back and who was ready to come back. And 80% of them said we staying home.
Oh, okay.
So because they like,
I
look,
understand.
we've gotten used to this. This works for us,
Right.
and we're not missing anything, nothing lacking, nothing wanting. So because they said they wanted to stay home, and 20% more or less said they were ready to come back to church,
Hmm.
we do something called chosen reservations, which we
Hmm.
allow a maximum of 125 people to show up at church. But on the first Sunday in the month of November, we're doing our outdoor pull-up family and friends service. So
Oh,
it's going to be in the parking lot, and we right across the street from our church is a community college. We're renting their parking lot. We're using their parking lot, and we're going to get the opportunity to minister to our entire membership while they're in their cars. So,
oh,
I'm
wow.
excited about that. Yeah.
Oh, I like that option. My
Hmm.
church, well, they haven't quite gotten to that option yet. I
Right.
actually still, I watch online at home. I get
Yeah.
on Facebook Live
That's
and I
enough.
watch at home. Yeah. But actually here in North Carolina, we've pretty much, we're in the third phase.
Right.
We're getting back to opening pretty much everything back up.
Hmm.
But will you be doing anything virtually as far as with your album? Like, are you doing any virtual concerts?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They can go to, people right now can go to my YouTube channel, my
Mhm.
official YouTube channel. And I actually did a virtual release concert party. And all they got to
Oh,
do is just go, and they can find a link and they can click on it and they can watch the whole thing. I interview songwriters, I sing songs off the record, and it's actually right from the sanctuary of my
oh,
church chosen
oh,
vessel.
wow.
Yeah. So they love
Oh,
it.
and it's your YouTube, so I can make
It's
sure
right on
I
my YouTube channel.
share it.
Go
Okay,
to
I'm gonna
my YouTube.
share it on
All
my
you got,
Instagram.
add it up. Go to my YouTube channel. Subscribe, Marvin Sapp, and just look for virtual release party. Click the link. Send it.
Okay. Well, that is definitely, I am just watching how everyone has been doing everything virtual. I
Hmm.
mean, do you find it a lot easier on your end, or
I love it. I
you
love
love
it.
it?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I go to church on Sunday.
Uh, there you go.
I do my Bible study right from here, right where you see me sitting at right
Oh,
now.
Bible studies virtual?
I do Bible study
Oh,
virtual. I do my worship services every Sunday virtually.
yeah.
They can go to any of my social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook Live. We probably average around 40 to 50,000 views every week.
Cool.
So it's doing exceptionally well.
That's good. That's good. That's always a blessing.
Hmm.
And fun question for you, because
Okay.
all the kids are at home and they're on TikTok and
Hmm.
doing my niece and nephew. Every time I see them, they're trying to do some dance on TikTok. But
Hmm.
your song, you know which one I'm talking about. Never would have made it. How do you do it? It got remixed, and I'm like, okay, how do you
I,
feel about it?
I loved it. I loved it. I'm telling you, I love it. I think it's great. I mean, what it does is it gives the song life. I mean, Never Would Have Made It is 15 years old.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still just as relevant today as it was then. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, this is cool. This is really, really cool.
And you honestly, before I knew that I was going to have an interview with you, I actually had a dream with that song in it, and I was driving in my car, and it kept repeating. It was like on repeat in my dream. So
Hmm.
it's definitely a blessing to see how everything is unfolding, and
Yeah.
I think that God was trying to tell me something.
I tell people all the time, that's the song that keeps on giving. That
Yeah,
song,
I love
that's
it.
that song put 3 kids through college, so I appreciate
Oh,
it.
wow, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. Marvin,
your
Gaye, and
children, yeah.
Master, my three. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
well, I definitely appreciate talking to you today. How can everyone, make sure that they get, a copy of your album? How can they find your album? Where can they find it at?
Wherever they purchase their music, if they want a hard copy, it's on all of the streaming platforms. It can be downloaded as well. You can always go to, again, my YouTube channel. All of the songs are on my YouTube channel, even as we speak. Um, and they can follow me on any of my social media platforms, official Marvin Sapp page, or on Facebook, or they can follow me on Twitter and or Instagram at Marvin Sapp.
All right. Well, I'll make sure that I also share those links also on my social media, because I'm going to share this video as well. Hopefully,
Super.
my jaw looks okay. But I appreciate talking to you today, and as always, stay safe and be blessed. Thank you.
Absolutely. God bless you. Grace and
Yeah.
peace.
Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.